We discussed the president's recent major disaster that while the president has published. And if you look at the second page, we are now 8 days into the president's. The FDA has been in the process of reviewing less invasive methods of testing. The president and I both reflected on the fact that we have been tested and self-collected swabs, where individuals could, at the end of their passage, collect a sample. And I'm pleased to report that self-collected swabs can now be collected in clinics and at drive-through testing sites. With the current test that goes pretty significantly up the passage, people have to wear gear and then change out the gear. Self-collected swabs. It is not the healthy who need a doctor, but the sick. You don't need to get a coronavirus test. And also what's called distance learning. Distance learning, distance learning, distance learning, distance learning, distance learning.
You know, you have almost 160 million jobs in this country now, the most ever, by far the most ever. The number of jobs, almost 160 million. There'll be tremendous repercussions. There will be a tremendous death from that. Death. You know, you're talking about death. Probably more death from that than anything that we're talking about with respect to the virus. Massive depression, massive numbers of suicide, people suffering massive depression, where people suffer massive depression, where people commit suicide, where tremendous death happens. We've learned so much. I'm a student like your students. We're all learning this together. I learned a lot from Deborah. I learned a lot from Tony. I learned a lot from a lot of people. I've learned a lot.